Dylan's channel, so we don't have. We're already live. We're live right now.
Yes, sir. But don't.
This tricksy bastard.
You know,
well, he doesn't do them fancy intros like you do.
No, sir.
He can't.
No, sir.
He can't because of the duck.
Yeah.
He could. We get rid of this duck. I'll send you the intros, Dylan.
Yeah.
I like making them. I hate editing my own videos, but I love making those intros.
That's what I want for the horror show intro. Like I want it to be just kind of like a montage of like awesome clips. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you need to set you up a Patreon and be like, I just need $25 a month so I can pay for streaming.
I do got Patreon.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, send me the link. I'll plug the shit out of it, man. Let's do it. Let's pay for your StreamYard. But you got to give the first $25 to StreamYard every month, bro.
Oh,
we got to get rid of this duck, and I'll make intros for all of your horror shows. You just let me know.
It'd be dope, bro, if I would have done it when it was $10. So that would have been easier. Yeah, it was $10 during Black Friday.
Oh, damn, dude! If you want 1080p now, you got to pay $50 a month.
Whew. I didn't even know they do the 1080p now.
Yeah, ain't nobody paying for that.
Right.
Anyway, what's up, everybody?
What about that 4K? What's that 4K cost?
Oh, that's not an option yet, my friend.
Is it? Wow. But Jem, got that 1080p.
He said he tried it out for a minute, then he dipped out of it because he didn't feel like it was worth it. That's a lot of money, dude. $50 a month. That's a lot of money. Anyway.
Station, my brothers.
Station.
So how's everyone's Saturday going?
You don't want to introduce the show to everybody, Dylan?
Nope. I just want to ask how everyone's Saturday's going.
I've had a good Saturday.
I know. I was just chilling. It's been rainy here, muggy. So I was just chilling.
It's been overcast here, but warm comparatively.
Yeah.
Like when I was getting off of work, it looked like the fog was moving in.
Damn.
There's like a big ass fog bank just like slowly creeping towards the house.
When I was coming through the neighborhood, I had to go to Kroger after work, right? I had to go to the grocery store and I had to come home. And I drove through the neighborhood and there was a fog and all the Christmas lights in the fog. It looked fucking amazing. It looked like something out of Black Christmas or Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'll tell you that.
The ghost pirates came out of the fog.
I was gonna say, I hope you didn't see no pirate ship in that fog. Otherwise,
Christmas pirate ship, my friend. With red and green lights all over.
That's cool.
All right, hey, I know which way you're talking about. Instead of turning right to get to your house, had you gone straight where that soccer field is, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, weird stretch, but yeah, I know where the rich town is. I know where the rich area is.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that soccer field. Like if you go out there with all the fog coming in, it's actually. That would have been pretty cool to see.
Very nice.
You would have seen the Christmas lights across the field, which would have been cool.
Hey, man. Maybe tomorrow night, brother.
Maybe.
Hey, Robbie, people that got.
I just feel so damn awkward to start like this. Oh, Q. I've never seen that.
I know. It's a good one. But, yeah, so we have to get on topic. Otherwise, Robbie is going to be like, we're not here to not talk about your bullshit.
I'm just saying, you got people on the rewatch, on the replay right now dropping out because they're like, this isn't about Silent Night, Deadly Night.
It so is. That's what
they don't know.
That's what it says on the title, and we don't lie here. We don't lie. But yeah, it
just takes us a long time to get to it.
So, which it does on Robbie's show too.
Bro, no, it doesn't.
I'm just kidding. All right, but we're here to review Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 1 and 2. And I know Robbie's mad at me for Part 2, but it had to be done. And he screwed me on Gremlins too, so I had to screw him and force him to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Oh, this was because I wouldn't do the double feature for
Not
Gremlins.
Not at all.
Yes, that's what it is.
I love Part. I just have a super soft spot for Part 2. And I'll tell you guys, I understand if you watch them back to back, it kind of like you're kind of like, damn, like it kind of takes part two out of you. Like part two just doesn't seem as good and it seems cheesier. But if you watch it like as a one shot, like sometimes I feel like you gotta almost pick. Like, am I gonna watch part one this year or part two? And sometimes I'm just in a goofy mood and I'm like, I'm gonna just throw in part two this year. Or sometimes maybe I watch part two in the beginning and then I'll watch part one, because part one is still a phenomenal movie, I think. Like, it's really underrated. And part two is just that goofy ass sequel that that everyone talks about horror franchises got in
It's
the
the
80s.
laziest goddamn sequel that's ever been done. I'll tell you that, but I'll speak on that more later.
But it's got one of my favorite kills.
Which one?
We'll talk about it when we get to it.
All right. So we'll go around and we'll be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night, part one right now, and we'll talk about thoughts and overall thoughts as Robbie would do. So we'll keep it pretty much how we do it on Robbie. So since that works out to be fun all the time,
Do your own thing, Dylan, man. Put your twist to it.
Formula.
Yeah, exactly. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we'll start with Robbie then. What's your overall thoughts on the Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 1?
I actually really like it. I think it's a pretty solid film. I think it's a great exploration on the killer. One of my favorite things about this film is that, contrary to other 80s slasher films, which are mostly about building up the characters of the victims who just die anyway, this one built up the killer more so than Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees was ever built up. Like, they spend the first act of this film building up the idea of why Billy turns into this crazy Santa killer. I love the film. I think it's got some bold kills. Now, I watched the unrated version for this rewatch, which on the Scream Factory, I'm sure you noticed, it has some quality issues when it gets to the unrated cut scenes, scenes that were cut by the, what is it, the MMPA or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like this film. I think it's a gratuitous 80s slasher film that's just trying to make a buck, right? It was extremely controversial at the time. I think nowadays we would just sneeze at it. You know what I'm saying? But I like the film. It's got some poor acting. It's a B movie. I mean, it's a C movie. I mean, it's a D movie. It's a C movie because it's a Christmas movie. But I like it. I have a lot of fun with it. I think that the kills are really good. It's got a really great soundtrack to it. These discordant tones that are like Christmas bells falling, and I just absolutely love it. I think it's a great film. I think it's solid. I don't think it's as solid as other Christmas horror films that we may have recently talked about, but I thought it was really cool, and I applaud it for building up the killer and really talking. It's about repression. It's about PTSD. So all in all, overall, I'm very happy that I watched this film, and I'm very happy I bought this film on the Scream Factory release. It's aside from, they couldn't help the unrated cut, the problems because they didn't have access to the actual negative of those bits or whatever. So I really, really like this one. So I'm going to give it a station to start off with.
I agree, my brother. And I honestly wish they would do that with other ones, like Friday Part 7, I don't care, man. Clean them up as best as you can. And those were trash.
Yeah, I don't care because they put multiple versions of the films on these releases.
It's give me the regular one.
Give me give me all the uncut Friday 13th. Give me an uncut Jason Takes Manhattan.
And want that. New Blood. I want them all. I want Jason Takes Manhattan, a New Blood.
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's one more.
6 got hit hard too. So
6 got 6. But yeah, dude.
But yeah, I really like the film. I love that there's an unrated cut of it, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, me too. All right. Let's see. We'll go Brooks. What did you think of this movie, my brother?
I actually like this movie too. I thought it was a pretty interesting take on the slasher because it's more about the killer's psychosis than just a dude going around killing people. Kind of like Black Christmas is just like the dude you don't know like why he's doing it. You just know he's nuts and he's he likes to murder people. But in this one, you actually you can see why this dude becomes this killer, because it's just this trauma of having this really fucked up psychopath dressed as Santa Claus murder his parents, and then later on when he thinks it's like I'm putting it behind me, and he gets this job at a toy store, and then Christmas comes around, and his boss is like, I want you to be Santa Claus. So I don't know why he wouldn't just say dude, my parents were kind of killed by a dude dressed as Santa Claus. I have a kind of a thing about it.
Because it's 1984.
But
in 1984, you just manned up.
And then the dude just keeps on you need to be Santa Claus. And so in his idea of Santa Claus is this fucked up psycho dude that just went around murdering and stealing. So that's what he does. And his grandpa did that thing, and it's Santa only brings toys to those that's been good all year.
Oh my God!
What you ain't punishes. Yeah. Kind of that whole idea of punishment, and then just kind of gets so ingrained into him that he's terrified of Santa Claus. I love the part, where he's first dressed up as Santa Claus, and the little girl's sitting on his lap, and she's fidgeting. He's like, "Don't you know what's good that happens if you're naughty?
I punish you."
Yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot.
I like how all the parents were just sitting there watching that girl get tormented.
So good with
it's got some really funny parts. I love when he's talking to the grandpa and he's like, "You ain't scared, boy?" He's like, "Christmas is the scariest goddamn night of the whole year."
That opening. The opening's great.
It's so great.
Quentin Tarantino says this is one of his favorite films, and there was some kind of event where Quentin and Robert Rodriguez were there, and they were on stage, and they acted out that opening. And I think Quentin was the grandfather and Robert Rodriguez was, or maybe it was vice versa. I don't know. But you almost don't even get the idea if is the grandfather fucking with the kid, or is he just crazy, because he's kind of tearing up while he's doing it, but then he's laughing. It's a really crazy scene, man.
Maybe it's all in the kid's head. Maybe he's just imagining the whole thing.
I can see it.
Mike, what did you think, my brother? How'd you like this movie? Was this your first time watching this?
No, it was not my first time watching this. I watched this. This kind of messed up. I remember me and another guy that I knew growing up had watched this, and there's a video store down from the house, down the street from our houses. So we would go and rent movies. It's a Saturday afternoon, and we weren't doing anything, and there's nothing exciting. So it's let's watch a movie. And we couldn't watch horror movies with my parents, but his parents were always gone or working. So then it's oh cool, we'll just go to his house and watch horror movies. And he ended up being a very shady character. So I wonder if the horror movies rubbed off on him. But no, I love this movie. It's great. It's one of my first horror movies. I remember watching, so it's always been a fun one for me. So 2 was a different story, but we'll get to that.
Was it your first time, Brooks? Or you've seen it?
Yeah, this was my first time. I'd never seen this movie before. I'd only heard about it.
Yeah.
And part 2.
Yeah, I feel like if you've heard about some of the stuff over the years, it kind of got a bad rep over the years. Moms were holding their picket fences outside the movie theater going nuts.
Being besmirched,
It ran for 1 week. It was, it was pulled a week after it came out because there was a lot of PTA groups.
It was Coca-Cola.
You remember that movie Ernest Saves Christmas?
Yeah.
Remember that had kind of that kind of commentary where the guy was doing the movie, but it's called Santa's Sleigh, but he didn't know it was Santa's sleigh, as in sleigh water. It was about aliens attacking on Christmas. It was like a horror movie, they kind of presented that like it's a bad thing. Like you should never fucking turn Christmas into something scary.
Well, the crazy thing was it wasn't that they were turning Christmas into something scary, because that had been done. Like last night on our channel, we talked about PCP. I mean, we talked about Black Christmas, right? But there was Christmas Evil, and there was a bit in the original Tales from the Crypt, the Hammer one, right, with the killer Santa Claus. So these things had existed. This is not the first time. But what's crazy is that, like, there are quotes, man. There's like a principal at the time that said that this was the equivalent of child abuse, right? Here's the thing. This movie is rated R. So if kids watched this film, whose fault was that? Not the movies. You know what I'm saying? And this was the 80s, and it was the slasher genre. This was not the first time they have ever portrayed a murderous Santa Claus. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And it was what, Moms Against oh my god, it was like MoMA. It was like Moms Against I don't know. It was a weird organization, and like Siskel and Ebert gave this a terrible thing. Like Gene Siskel named out by name the writer, producer, and fucking director, and was like, shame on you, this is blood money that you've made all this movie. Here's the crazy thing. For its really short stint, this movie cost $750,000 to make. It made $2.5 million. Like it made 4 times its budget.
Yeah.
In just those 2 weeks of release. It was out 2 weeks, but Coca-Cola's who pulled it, because Coca-Cola is one of the partners that owned TriStar, and they have Santa's one of their images, and that's what happened.
Right.
But the controversy only ever strengthened the movie.
Exactly. So if they would have kept it in longer, it would have made, I guarantee it would have made 5 to 10 million if it would have been in there for like a month, because back in the day, movies were in theaters even longer, you know?
It didn't even have a wide release. They were anticipating 20 mil if they could hit a wide release for it.
Yeah.
I think it didn't, like, according to the Wikipedia, it broke, it beat out Nightmare on Elm Street on opening weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I'm sure Nightmare opened up on more theaters.
Nightmare was huge.
It may not have been huge on opening night, though. It may have been word of mouth.
Yeah,
like you said, movies used to be in theaters a lot longer, so it had time to spread that word of mouth.
Yeah.
All right, so here it is. It says, it outgrossed Wes Craven's landmark slasher, A Nightmare on Elm Street, which opened the same day, a bet in 235 fewer theaters before being pulled from theaters. It grossed $2.4 million in the first 10 days. So yeah, people liked it.
I do want to point out that right now I'm the closest I've ever been to Bueller, and that just makes me feel good. So Bueller, I hope you're having fun in Florida Station. Jesus Christ.
Florida. Hey, we could have gone to Florida.
Now, people are acting about this movie with the controversy or the controversy. They were acting like they were like painting Jesus Christ as like an axe murderer. You know what I'm saying? Like Santa Claus is not in the Bible, y'all. It's okay. It's not sacrilege to like have Santa be a killer.
I think some of those mom and pops were a little, kooky thing. Oh my God, Santa Claus is a real human being.
Oh, what was the name of that organization? Moms Against something. Motion something. Is Moms Against Movies. What was it? Hold on. Moms. Just type in Moms Against. I bet a lot of shit.
It'd probably be more like Moms Against Everything.
Who knows? Just go on. Move on.
All right. So I guess it's my turn to talk. And like all you guys said, this is actually a really good movie. It has good character development. I mean, the first half of the movie is, building up who Billy is and what he's gone through and what his childhood was like in this, children's home, or what are those called? Can't think of the damn name. The basically a foster home, but a foster home filled with
like an orphanage.
Nuns. Yeah, an orphanage.
A convent, it's very Catholic. And that was what they thought would be the most controversial thing about the film, was the portrayal of the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
But everybody flipped out over Santa Claus.
Yeah. Which that's probably the biggest part for me is, this crazy nun who's too stuck in her ways about punishment and being naughty and following the book by rule, that she can't see that she is ruining this kid. And like almost like stuff in his head that like he thinks stuff like he thinks Santa Claus goes out and murders people, so it's like almost like his wires are crossed because he was never told properly on thing. He believes that if you are bad, Santa Claus is coming to punish you on Christmas Eve, just like it when his grandpa scared the shit out of him, like this is the scariest damn night of the entire year. Like you better run and hide. That's why when before they see the grandpa, he's excited for Santa. He's worried, like, am I not going to see him? Is he not going to know where I'm at? But then after he sees his grandpa, he's like, hell no, Mom, I don't want to see Santa. To keep going, you know what I'm saying? And it's really well done. I think it gets into the psyche of Billy, and like you said, what trauma and dealing with all that stuff, and how you can maybe put it to the back of your head, but deep down it's always going to be there. You lose somebody in life, yeah, maybe days get easier, but no matter what, you know what I'm saying, you see a picture of that person you lost, it is always a memory you can't forget. And that's a loss that will never, like lighten up on your heart if it was somebody you truly cared about. I think, like, to me, if I had ever lost my mom or dad, like, that's something never would loosen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd probably get harder, if anything, for me. But it's just, it's a well done movie, and it's got some funny ass scenes too. I love, like, the cop in it, like his little, every time he hits a corner, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I love it, man. There's some funny parts. Yeah. What an idiot, man, shooting the damn priest, like, and then he's just,
I know,
like,
right?
totally.
And in the film, it's a very specific trauma. It's not just about losing someone. It's about, like, Santa Claus murdering your mother and father right before your eyes. And
well,
like
the attempted rape thing that was thrown in there
the
too.
attempted rape.
Right.
And it's like we can understand and extrapolate why Jason goes after teenagers in Heat, right? We can kind of get it because they were having sex when they should have been watching him, right? That's more of his mother's thing. Yeah, right? But, like, in this one, like, we know 100% why this dude's freaked out, because the first guy he kills, not only is he egged on by his manager, who's like, you know what Santa Claus does, don't you? Now, he has no idea that this dude's, like, right now, his mind is melting.
He's drunk.
Yeah, and he's just drunk. They're having that work, and they're like, we're finally fucking done with the Christmas season. We can relax.
Yeah.
And holy cow, man! But, like, it's a very specific thing, and I love how it's done, man. I really do.
Yeah, it's a really well-rounded movie. I think it's shot pretty well too. I'm trying to think. All right, so I guess we'll go with the score next. What'd you think of the score, Robbie?
Well, I pay attention to the music in these films. The score is by Perry Botkin, and it's very discordant. It's dissonant, right? It sounds, like I said, like Christmas bells falling downstairs. It's a lot more prevalent than the music in, say, like Black Christmas that we talked about last night. But it's like, if you notice, it's like boom, boom, boom. But it works so well to me, and it speaks of Christmas, and it captures this chaos, this chaotic atmosphere that's within Billy's mind, right? Like, I really feel the journey Billy takes, and when he loses it, like, I feel it. Like, I get that it's scary when some of these other slashers kill, and then at the end they kind of give you an explanation, but we got to, like, build up to what was going on with Billy, and the music helped affect that. With it seems like it's not your traditional score. It's kind of like Black Christmas a little bit, like it's more involved, but it's got this, like, dissonant tone to it that's just like bang, bang, bang. It's disharmonious, and it worked, and I think it's reflective of Billy's mental state. And I think it's fantastic because in addition to that, it also still represents Christmas.
I agree. Brooks, what did you think of the music in this?
I like the score. I think it worked well with the movie. Like, I remember there was one part. I think it was like when he was just starting to freak out when he's in the Santa suit. But it sounds like somebody just banging their fists on a piano. It's just like dun 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 dun. And just like it has that tension to it. And I love the Santa's watching, Santa's creeping. Now you're nodding, now you're sleeping. Because that song is like, it seemed, it's like just a bouncy generic kind of Christmas song, but it has kind of a creepy undertone too, which kind of fits with this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Mike, what did you think of the score on this one, my brother?
Real quick, Robbie, it's called Citizens Against Movie Madness. Damn.
That's what it was. It was Moms Against Movie Madness. That's what it was.
I just said Citizens.
But then I'm sure they changed it to Citizens because fathers can be concerned too, right?
Right. I love the generic Christmas music that they made for this. When they're driving to the old folks' home and when they run into Santa, that Christmas is like the Christmas is coming, like the super generic Christmas music. I was trying to look up who wrote it. But the person that wrote it did all the generic Christmas songs. So
yes, it was one of the composer's friend who did, and they sound very country. I know what you're talking about now. I forgot to even speak on that. Yeah, well played.
And it was so I want to go find those songs and add them into a Christmas playlist at the shop. So, but yeah, they're very generic, but they do sound like Christmas music. So, and whoever wrote it did a good job. I was trying to look it up. I think it was Morgan Ames, but I'm not 100% sure. So, I just remember that.
Good thoughts as always, Mike. Good thoughts as always.
Oh, it's outside of the orchestral parts. It's what's overlaying of, like, you can't have a Christmas movie without Christmas music. So,
exactly.
And I'm not paying for it, so I'll just pay somebody to write it. It's cheaper.
Yeah. I do always appreciate your point of view, Mike, since you are a cameraman or a photographer, so you kind of see the point of view some of these filmmakers are, taking when they're filming their movies. I've seen you talk a lot about that over the time.
Yeah, this just has your basic. There was nothing. It was more in the practical effects.
Yeah,
and how they did the killings is the and how some of that was shot is more of how crap. What is the word? I can't think of it. But that's what this movie is about. It's very basic. But then when you get into the actual killings and the way they show everything and the way they frame the shots, like, that's when it gets important. I'm confusing one. Is the girl that gets killed with the antlers in one or two?
One. Well, both.
Oh yeah. So, but that was
the most iconic scene from the first one.
That was the most visual.
Leanna Quigley.
So it was
you know who that is, Robbie, from Return of the Living Dead, the girl with the red hair.
Yeah.
The damn icon right there.
Yep.
Sorry, Mike, did I cut you off?
No, you're good. That was it. That was the scene. That's the one. If you're gonna study any type of shooting and like the DP of it all, that would be the scene to watch.
That was definitely the most complicated one. I from what I see in the behind the scenes. I like how it kind of gets like gritty, like when he's already put her up on it, and then he kind of like it's like it cuts, and then it's like a pan, it's like a backed up view where it's like you see the whole room, and then you see her hanging on the
Yep.
antlers, and then he kind of just stares at it for a second, and then he just walks away, walks to the side. I always like that. So the score in this, since I guess I didn't really notice it.
How many of these shows we done, Dylan?
I'm joking. God, I did that purposely for you, just because I don't.
That was a joke too, Dylan. Calm down.
Okay, so I think my favorite music, which I was surprised none of you guys mentioned it, when he's about to snap. You know what I'm saying? When he's like, when he sees somebody, when he sees the girl in the back closet and the guy's trying, kind of being a little rough and taking advantage when she's saying no, and he's just reliving his trauma past, and you just hear that. I want to play it because it's like so hard to, it's like almost messy. It feels like, but it's like, man, I wish I could play it. I don't know if I get in trouble.
You would. Don't do it.
You're
right though.
So if you want to know what I'm talking about, just go on YouTube and just type in Silent Night, Deadly Night, and soundtrack, and the first one, the main one, and it's just like, as soon as you hear it though, it's like basically like his whole, like his whole head is just snapping at that moment. That's just what I think. Like his whole, everything that he's thinking of, he's going from his past, his crazy past, to everything he's been through at the Catholic orphanage home, getting beaten every day by that nun. What was it? Sister's name was Sister
Mother Superior.
Mother Superior, yeah. I am Mother Superior, and nobody will come in here that is not meant. But yeah, I actually might like the score in this a little bit better than Black Christmas. I think Black Christmas is subtly perfect, though. It is so perfectly well executed that it doesn't need more. Like I mentioned yesterday, like the guy who did it, he would have went back and kind of tweaked some things. I don't think that, but they're two different movies, obviously.
Yeah, this movie it's not as refined cinematically, so it needs the music to be more involved.
It does more of the jingle jangles, you know what I'm saying? More kind of, more Christmas themed stuff. I feel like
they do a great thing too, because they're in a toy store during Christmas time, so you hear it makes sense for them to be in there. And then they have those animatronic like Santa Clauses.
Yeah,
that are very creepy. Like,
and there's the Nutcrackers, all the like close-ups on the Nutcrackers,
and they're like screaming when people get killed. Yeah, it's great.
Get killed, and they do like and it's looking at the Nutcracker. I thought that was cool as hell. That's what I guess the director told the director of photography to just basically go around and just shoot a bunch of scenes in the store.
The director was Charles Sellier, right? And he was kind of squeamish about filming any of the kills, and so he his assistant director was Michael Spence, who was also the editor of the film. He wound up filming pretty much all of the kills because the director was like, "I don't want to film the kills." Wow. Isn't that weird?
That is so weird. That is weird.
I just want to get all the rapes in.
He didn't film any of that. That was all the assistant who was also the editor. So,
well, I figured it's one of those that it's kind of like it's the couples making love, like, and in the orphanage, like that was him, I bet, because that was just looking through a large keyhole. I'm saying he wants to do all the TNA stuff, but he can't do the blood.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This movie does have an abundance of tea in the TNA.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a girl who, instead of putting on a shirt, she just puts on bottoms and goes
on shorts, but like no shirt to walk out to get her cat.
Yeah. One of my favorite scenes ever.
Well, one of the things that harking on the Mother Superior, like when he gets I can't remember what happens to him, but it's when he's in the corner, crying and shaking, and then she's like,
And she tried to put him in Santa's lap, and he wouldn't do it. He ran
yeah,
away.
he decks Santa. Yeah, he punches Santa. He punches out Santa, and then goes and hides in his room in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be punished. I don't want to be punished. Like, how can you look at that and just go like, all right, like,
Punish.
you have to step back and look at and like, okay, like there's something more wrong with this.
Well, that's something that goes on. That's the theme of this movie. Is the theme of like religious and governmental authority. And think of like the way like, this movie is about the fear as a child of authority. It starts with Santa Claus killing his parents, and then it goes on to the abuse by Mother Superior. It goes on to the bullies. He hates bullies. He beheads them, because they steal the sled from those guys. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, who ever saw a movie where like bullies come and steal someone's sled? But whatever, it happens, right? So
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. But it's about this, think of something like Pink Floyd's The Wall. That's what that's speaking on. It's like teachers, and the way that when you're a kid, not only are teachers and just kind of random adults, but members of your own family, like your crazy ass grandpa who tells you that Santa's going to kill you if you're not good all year long, perfect. And it leads to that religious conviction a little bit. And I think that's why they tie it in to the Catholic convent, is because, growing up religious myself, like it was a real big like burden and this guilt that gets put on someone to not be perfect all the time, which we know is impossible. And that's kind of part of the human experience. The point is to always try to be better, but we all fall. And sometimes this, the religious or the societal indoctrination can really mess you up in the head about your own behavior.
Mother Superior only knows one way to deal with kids. And it's like just this overwhelming discipline, which, it seems to work for most of them, but like that doesn't work for every kid, Like punishment doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be nice.
They kind of sticks to that, that mindset that some people have, like, that there's only one way to solve any kind of problem, even if it's the wrong way.
You can stretch that out to a societal level too. You know what I'm saying? And about prison, about war, and that movie's speaking about this and what punishment, the mentality of punishment. Kids that are punished severely turn out to be adults that punish people. Do you get what I'm saying?
So like this is off subject, but like what I was saying earlier, really reflects onto this. Like the person that I watched this with was like a childhood friend, but I have not talked to him in 30 years, since high school. But he got like he kind of went crazy. He I don't know if he killed anybody, but like he got a couple of rapes and a lot of violent acts, and it's just kind of like, well, your favorite thing is horror movies, so like you're kind of, I don't know. That's if that makes any sense, or do you know where I'm going with that?
Well, I mean, that's unfortunate, obviously.
Yeah.
But like one of mine and Dylan's favorite things is horror movies, and we're not like that.
Yeah,
well, I don't really know Dylan, but I'm assuming he's not.
I don't really know you.
Yeah, you don't.
But that was the weird thing. So
with a hockey mask and a machete in it.
I guess it depends on why you're into this stuff. If it's the idea of a nude woman getting impaled by like a deer head, if that excites you because you like to see a nude woman being impaled, that's the problem. But if you like to see filmmakers be bold and do things that probably they shouldn't, like, that's different, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It was just kind of
a fan of film, honestly, man. And horror was just the first thing I probably ever gravitated towards.
Horror is great because it gets to utilize everything: drama, comedy, atmosphere. It can go into sci-fi. It can be a farcical thing. It can be anything it wants to be, but it has to utilize every aspect of filmmaking to its fullest, including music and cinematography and editing. Everything has to be so perfect. Pacing, the acting. This movie's not the most well acted, and it's faulted because of that. It could be better with better acting and a little bit more like a more committed director. It could be better. This movie is good, but it could be better if there was actually, I think, more faith put in behind it. And, there's that whole idea about the people that came up with the idea for it kind of got eventually locked out of it. You saw? Did you? I'm assuming, Dylan, you watched the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, like those two guys that developed it at first, and then an Ira guy, which Ira Toys is named after.
Yeah.
He kind of sold it, and they kept trying to get like rights to executive produce all sequels or this or that. And this movie spawned a lot of sequels. I mean, it's a popular film. It was as far as horror cult VHS audiences go, and that's us. So
yeah, I think it got four sequels and a remake called and that was five sequels.
3 and 4 have nothing to do with 1, 2, and 3. All deal with Billy and Ricky, and then 3 and 4 4 and 5 have nothing to do with it. But
there's not a sixth one, is there?
The sixth one's the remake.
Sixth one.
The sixth one's the remake.
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I was saying, that there was 4 and then a remake, so 5 altogether.
5 and a remake.
The remake is actually good.
With Ron Howard's brother.
Howard. There's 5 movies total, 4 sequels. I get it, but forget it. Go ahead, Mike.
No, what's his face is in the other ones. Ron Howard's brother, Clint Howard. Is that who that is?
Oh,
brother,
he's in the fourth one. He's in one of them.
I see what you're saying. 4 sequels and a remake. There's 6 total films.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
because there's
Part 3 is Better Watch Out. Then there's Initiation. Then The Toy Maker.
The Toy Maker. Initiation has the one guy's brother that Mike just mentioned.
Yeah, Clint Howard.
Clint Howard.
And then he makes a cameo in 5. So,
does he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've watched him too. I can't remember.
Yeah, 4 and 5 just go. They kind of do what Halloween wanted to do, and I think it actually kind of worked.
Yeah.
So where it's like, okay, here's this trilogy for these brothers. Now let's move on. So
the third one with Bill Moseley is like really wacky. Like if you think the second one's bad, Robbie, watch the third one with Bill Moseley, and he's got like a.
I'm just gonna wait till Scream Factory does the box set, and then maybe I'll just get them all.
Yeah, there's like a there's like a 3-pack that has 3, 4, and 5, and I want to get it. I actually really like the remake is actually really good too.
Never saw it.
And it's pretty dark.
I didn't watch a lot of remakes. Most remakes I don't watch.
Yeah.
When it comes to horror. When it comes to horror.
So if you guys had to pick, who would be your favorite character, and why? What scene made them be your favorite character of this movie, or stole it away for you? Answer that for me real quick, because I gotta go let my dog in real quick.
All right, Robbie, you go first.
I'll start with Robert Brian Wilson as Billy. I love the main character. I think he does a great job of showing us he's not an actor. He literally, the producer saw him in a restaurant, came up to him, said, "You look like you could be a star." Like that cliche that literally happened to him. His girlfriend convinced him to call the producer. He did. He got the part. I think he portrays it very well because he has this very innocent quality to him. He's got this almost kind of a dullard quality to him, like a big buff guy that's handsome, but he's very simple because he's led a very sheltered life. And he's led a very sheltered life, though. And when he makes the turn, this is not a guy who has the acting chops to really deliver like a comment-worthy performance, right? But he does better than the dude in part 2. But I think he does a solid job. I think he does a solid job from building up the character as being that charming, athletic, small town guy to being this like crazy killer who is really just conflicted so much. Like, and I love the scene. My favorite scene would be when he confronts the girl and he goes, have you been good? Have you been naughty at all? She goes, no. So he's like, you've been good all year? She's like, yeah. So he's only doing in his head what he believes Santa's supposed to do. So if she's not been naughty all year, no missteps, she has to have a gift. And he gives her the only thing he has of value, which is a bloody box cutter. And I just love that. It's poignant. Man, it's poignant.
And like that could have been, you could come back and do a sequel 20 years later just off of that story right there of how she got the bloody box cutter and she was all messed up.
Oh no shit, right? Like
Yeah.
she's like the lady in Saw, you know, who tries to take over.
But then again, like for Robert Brian Wilson, like outside of just saying naughty, like what else? He didn't have much to do.
What I'm saying is that he did what he did. Literally, he's not an actor. He was a dude who met the producer at a diner and took the gig, and I think he did well for what that was. And speaking of naughty, hell yeah, it's memorable, isn't it?
Mhm.
And tell me he didn't give a more subtle performance than, what is it, Eric Chapman or whatever in part 2, which we'll be talking about.
Yes, we will. Brooks, what character would you highlight, my brother?
I liked the good nun kind of. It's like she's like, even though she was like, you know, kind of enabling Mother Superior's bullshit behavior, like she did seem like she wanted, like she knew it was wrong, you know, and like she tried to get him out in the world, but you know, she did kind of fuck up in not telling dude, you know, that he had a Santa Claus complex when she's sending this kid to work at a toy store, like around Christmas time.
Yeah, no shit.
Like when she gets the call, she's like, "Oh no, I forgot to tell him about the Santa thing." Like he's dressed as what? She's kind of like the Dr. Loomis of this movie in a way.
A little bit, right? It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
that moment she realized she had fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, she comes back later to check on him to make sure everything is fine, and that's when she discovers all the bodies in the toy store. So
Yeah, she's
And that's
a
when
good
she's like,
character.
oh, I forgot to tell him about the Santa Claus thing.
She's kind of a little bit of a pushover, though, always letting Mother Superior get the last word, anything she says
But
goes.
she's also part of that kind of class system within the church.
Yeah,
Where, you know, the Mother Superior is like above her, so she kind of has to accept her decisions and shit.
know your role and shut your mouth. In other words,
Yeah.
to quote The Rock.
That was know your role and shut your hole.
I don't know. I didn't watch the Attitude Era. Spoilers. So one of the, I thought she was a little. I think that she kind of wanted to do the right thing, and help out Billy, and like her heart was in the right place, and I know she did the best that she could. So, but it's still. I mean, at least she tried more. She was probably the nicest person to Billy.
You realize this is the same? The killer's name is the same name as the killer in Black Christmas. Billy.
Billy.
Is the killer's name Billy in Black Christmas?
One of the people inside of the head of the killer is named Billy.
Really? I know he's always going on about Billy. I thought
They call it Billy.
Like, you know,
In the script,
the
he's called.
girl he was talking to was Billy.
Well, in the script, he's called Caller, but he's known through the fandom as Billy because he says it's me, Billy. But whatever. That's a different film. But that's a neat connection, I think, to Billy.
Yeah.
Are all Billies serial killers? Is that what we're coming up with?
Only during Christmas. Is that a Mario 3, like the actual game behind you, bro?
Yeah, that's the Mario 3 box.
Bruh. Can I borrow that just to put on the set?
Yeah, it's just,
Can I borrow it just to put on the set? Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
well, I found that. I found those Mario toys, and that was with it. So Yeah. So I decided, oh, I'll put this up in the background because it's the game box, one of the few that I have. So
Mike, did you tell who did you say your favorite character was?
I'm gonna go with let's go with Andy. Let's talk about Andy because we haven't talked about him yet. So the bully, the one that deserves it, the first death.
The guy who gets hung with the.
Yeah, he's the one that goes back and is roughing up the girl a little bit. Yeah, and Billy takes the lights and wraps it around his neck and kills him.
He's like, you were an okay kid, and now you got this fucking attitude.
And so he's just that classic douchebag character that's fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then he gets it, and then a lot of the people in the store, which always I cannot remember her name right now to save my life. She was the last lady to die in the department store, in the toy store.
Oh yeah.
He kills Billy, or he kills Andy, and then he kills the girl, and then the old dude, and then that lady. But it's funny, like what happened? Everybody at that party, like it was all live and festive, and then all of a sudden it's like 4 people are there.
Yeah. What was her name? I think maybe Mrs. Randall.
I think that might be it.
I think it was.
So there's it's kind of crazy. The cop was another fun one. I know we talked about him earlier.
Oh yeah.
He's just doing all of his things, and I think that, and I mean he did like he saw Santa Claus walking, like there's a crazy killer Santa walking towards the orphanage. Like we got to stop him, and then there's the Santa Claus walking to the orphanage. He doesn't know who it is. He's deaf. He can't hear. He can't hear, and bam. He did his job, and he paid the price for it.
Yeah.
So those two characters, those little 2 highlighted characters on those guys that they don't get a lot of notoriety, but they don't have a lot to do with the film. I mean, they do have a lot to do with it, but
poor old bastard.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that only 13 people died in this movie, were killed in this movie total. That's being the clerk at the beginning, the parents, and everybody else that Billy kills.
I like how you say only 13 people.
Yeah, I think it was planned for 13.
So I think it was like 7 guys, 4 girls, something like that. I can't remember. I know there was more males killed than females.
But all right, so I'd say probably, she's not really but we haven't mentioned her really, but she wouldn't be like my favorite character, but as an actor, she is definitely probably, if not the best, Mother Superior. I mean, she's just, I'm sure she's not the biggest bitch in the world. If you would have met her in real life, she probably is just a phenomenal actress, or actor. And, she does a really well job of just, you kind of hate her and you just feel so bad for Billy. I mean, you kind of get that she's trying to put some order in this kid to try to save him so that he doesn't, crumble and fall, and become just, another statistic and end up in prison, or, she, in her weird way, I guess she cares about him, but I kind of don't think she does in a way. I think it's more the other sister. She just is too held up on proving that her way is the way. And that's all she really cares about at the end of the day, is that she's right, and that how, her way of punishment, and if you're naughty, you get punished. And what is that? What did she say? Damn, I can't remember what she would say after. And she's like, and punishment is is necessary or whatever. I forget, but yeah, I think she does a really well job done, and it is a bummer that we didn't get her in part 2 because that would have maybe made the movie a little bit better. But yeah, I think she did a phenomenal job, and she definitely is the one I feel like people remember most. I mean, if it's not the Linnea Quigley getting hung up on antlers, Billy's just crazy meltdown, and Mother Superior.
But she apparently helped Robert Brian Wilson out with the acting lessons a little bit since he was brand new. So that's really cool too. So apparently she was a big help on the set with him.
Heck yeah, that is crazy. I don't know, he didn't really do any. I don't think he got that role. Wasn't even an actor, and he's not even an actor today. He
was just a pretty
all
face.
He ever did. It says he's in The Wrong Roommate, which I don't know what that is. That was in 2016, a TV movie. Shows he's in a couple things actually, but I feel like sometimes that's just bullshit.
He paid for part 2?
Probably not. Probably not, though. To be honest with you, they owned all the rights of the footage, so they probably could do whatever they wanted to with them and not pay.
No, because Linnea Quigley said that when they did part 2 that they had to have her sign off on something, so she probably I'm sure they got a couple bucks. You know what I mean? If that. But all right, so let's go around. What is our rating out of 5 you digs? Starting with my man Robbie, what would you give this movie out of 5 possible you digs, my brother?
Man, I think instead of you digs tonight, I'm doing you naughties. I'm going to give this 3.5 you digs, basically. I really like this film. I think it's solid. I don't think it's one of the best slashers out there. I don't think it's exceptionally overly well done, but I like it for what it is and what it attempts to do, which is to build up the killer and not necessarily the victims. I like the way that it's dealing with the psychological aspect of what's going on with Billy. I think it's pretty funny. I love there's a Jabba the Hutt in the background at the toy store. When I watch this movie, I'm looking at the background, seeing what are the toys, There's this monster makeup box that's behind them that I'm like, I want that right now. But I like it. I think it's pretty solid, a pretty solid film. Not great, not excellent, but I'll give it 3.5 you digs because it's trying to do something, and the music is phenomenal.
Well, respectable score, my brother. All right, Brooks, what are you thinking, boss? Out of
I give this one a 4. It's I can't decide if I like this one or Black Christmas better. I think I like them both for different reasons, but about the same amount. This movie is a lot more fun, I think, than Black Christmas was. It's a little goofier, but it's still it's not. It doesn't go too far into the comedic stuff, even though it is a guy dressed as Santa being the killer. But yeah, this is I think this is one of the better slasher movies I've seen, really. And considering with the Christmas theme too, and the way they incorporate this kind of weird Santa phobia into it, I thought that was an interesting idea.
Heck yeah, brother. Heck yeah. Mike, what would you give this, boss?
I'll give this one 4 you naughties. I love this film. It's super fun to me. It's one I haven't watched in a long time, so it was nice to go back and watch this again. So and it made me just reflecting on a lot of things of how terrible it is, but that's why we like it. So you can't really. I watched it the first time and I took it serious, and it was just wow, it was really enjoyable. And then the second viewing years later, it's just kind of all right, this is just fun because it's big dumb fun. So that's why I like it. But you've got to have love for you can't take everything serious. It's the same with comics. This is an issue of Hercules to me.
Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree more.
Weird stretch, Mike.
The
You're the only one that would get that. That's why I said it.
So I think I'd give this a 4 as well. I gave Black Christmas a 5 just because it's for that ballsy ending, and it is a phenomenal movie. So I think this is a really well-rounded movie. It has its cheesy moments, but it is a good movie, and it has good build-up, good tension, and it's a good story. It's not just about the kills. It actually has a good story behind it. So I'll give it a 4 for you digs. And what was it? So 4 for me and Mike.
Amber
Brooks,
Brooks.
That was
3
4.
4, you're 4. So 3 4s, and Robbie screws it up with a 3-5.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Why can't you like this movie more, bro?
I told Brooks the other night when we were hanging out, I was like, I'm going to give it a 3.5. And he's like, I'm going to give it a 4. And I'm like, interesting.
What would Jelani given this? Did he say?
No, he didn't.
I think it is a 3-5, but I think because it has such a good rewatchability, where it's like we could watch this every holiday. This is every year, where it's not like, oh, I'm gonna just watch it maybe once every 5 years. Like I can watch this every year.
I can watch it every other year.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're
Alongside every other year, alternating with part 2.
There you go.
So in a way, you watch it every year.
I can get behind that. All right, so we'll even out at what 3.9 you digs for
3.969 you dudes.
9, and that is our Silent Night Deadly Night Part 1 review.
Yeah.
Now we are here to talk about Silent Night Deadly Night Part 2, the cult classic, the steamy Garbage Day. Now this one, man, I am fond of. It is not the best movie, don't get me wrong. It is one of the worst movies, actually. But I have so much fun with it that I just can't help. I watch this one more than the first one, to be honest. The first one is awesome, like we've talked about. But the second one, I can just sit back and if I'm pissed off or something, this one's just gonna crack me up. You know what I'm saying? Just as if when Ricky's looking at that pistol in his hand and he can't help but to chuckle. You know what I mean, dog? This movie is absolutely just hilarious at times. Robbie, what are your overall thoughts on Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2?
Well, let me tell you. I'll start off with this, because I'm about to unload on you, Dylan. The righteous vengeance of Santa Claus and what was done to him in this film and what was done to Billy and everybody that was involved in Silent Night, Deadly Night. Anyway, you decided that we would do a double feature for Silent Night. So then I felt obligated to buy both on Blu-ray. And when I went to go buy Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, it was at full fucking price, okay? I'm not going to name numbers, but I'm just going to say it was at full price. Here we go.
Man, it was free on Tubi.
This is the worst fucking excuse for a slasher sequel there is. This is the poorest, shittiest, most lazy excuse for a horror sequel. Literally, a third of the footage in this film is footage from the previous film. It is ridiculously bad. The guy who plays was Ricky, right?
Yeah.
Is that Eric Chapman?
Eric Freeman.
Eric Freeman. This is one of the worst performances in VHS cinema history. And it's also incredibly fucking captivating, his performance, to be honest. So there's a thread of hope in this film. This movie is ridiculous. They use so much footage. And if you watch the documentary, they're like, oh yeah, when we finished filming, we were like, well, we didn't have enough movie. We didn't have as much movie as we thought we would have. So we put more of the original in there. I hate that. This is a terrible movie to watch the night after you watch the original. But I do understand why people love the ridiculousness of Garbage Day. Ha 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 ha. I understand. I get it, but I'm going to tell you this. As a movie, this is the poorest, most shitty ass excuse for a sequel that has ever been snake oiled onto the American public, onto the international public. This movie is pure shit. So there you go.
The movie was made by the Carpetbaggers. It was a historical joke.
So I'm not sad that we did this, Dylan. I'm not sad that I bought the Blu-ray. I am sad I spent full price on it though.
Hey, you should have done the buy two get one free, and it would have been cheaper.
Yeah, don't tell me how to live my life, brother. There's something about the
Free. Free.
Yeah. When
Free.
this shit goes out of print, especially with the slipcase, right, Dylan? Because that's a cult classic right there, my man.
Yep.
Free or $1.99 on Amazon.
It's $1.99 on Amazon to buy, not to rent.
The rent.
Yeah, I never waste money renting.
Us horror fans like the ownership of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, $2 is a lot cheaper than $30.
Hey, plus you said you'll watch it. You'll watch it again. You'll probably not next year. Now
Yeah, you're gonna have to commit to watching it again now.
Yeah,
I want to watch it. I'll be honest with you. As much as I really distasted it, I had such a disdain for it the first time I watched it. Because this was the first time I watched this one. And like, I thought it was just complete garbage. I was like, how much longer are they going to be flashing back to the original film using the exact same footage? And it was literally
the end of the movie.
It goes to the 45-minute mark, and he doesn't even put on the Santa Claus costume until like 15 minutes left in the movie. This movie is not, in fact, about Christmas. So I really appreciate that they're trying to give us the story that was set up at the end of the original about Billy's brother, Ricky. I get it. But I don't feel the connection to Christmas in this one like I did the first one either. And I got to have a big negative strike on that because of that.
Yeah, that's well, I guess when he breaks out, I think it's Christmas. It is Christmas when he breaks out at the end. But, during his flashbacks with his girlfriend and stuff, like, none of it goes.
And out of the entire movie, who do you really want to see him kill? The psychologist, right? You don't see him kill the psychologist.
No. You see him kill that asshole boyfriend, though, so I'll take that. Or that ex-boyfriend.
When he charges him with the shit, right? And his eyes explode. Yeah.
Yeah, he puts it away.
It's this is on the level of Troll 2, man.
Them good effects.
This is on the level of Troll 2, bro. And I would probably give Troll 2 the same rating I'll give this one. But that's my overall thoughts.
Troll 2 is awesome. They're eating him. And then they're going to eat me.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You're going to turn these motherfuckers into vegetables and then eat them. I love it.
Oh my god, it's so funny. All right, Brooks. Was this your first time watching this one, Brooks?
Yeah, it was. I'd heard this is a movie of some repute. So I'd heard about it. I'd seen certain scenes, but I'd never seen the whole thing before with my own two eyes.
Yeah. So what did you think?
I kind of liked it. Like the whole first third of it being a clip show was a little kind of dumb and boring, and I was like, you need to get on with it. But once he hits his rampage, I think it really picks up. And I like the character. The character of Ricky is a lot different because he's kind of this rebel. He's like his dude on a motorcycle, he doesn't give a fuck. And then all of a sudden, he just goes full on psycho, and he just like the sheer overblown nature of this guy's turn, he just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, oh, I have a gun. There's a guy with a garbage can. What should I do? I'll just say garbage day.
Those fucking one-liners, bro.
And shoot him. And he's like, he's not like his brother. Like, he doesn't ask him whether you've been naughty or nice. He just goes around and kills people, and like he gets the Santa suit on basically just to take revenge on Mother Superior at the end.
Yeah.
But I thought this movie was pretty fun for me. Like I kind of liked it.
Hey, I agree with you, Brooks. And speaking of one-liners, we didn't say the best one. Fuck off, Doc.
It's the first thing he says, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Fuck off, Doc. Oh my god. At least he's smoking. It's so like cheesy as shit. Like the guy who directed this was an editor, and his initial task was to just re-edit the initial film, right? And then they came up with the idea of adding a framing device. Then they elaborated on the story. Then they didn't have enough of the story, so they had it. Then it just goes back and forth. But you get this. It's obvious.
Room. I would have taken more of that craziness. It's like how hard. Like they filmed most of it in a fucking white room, you know?
Yeah, that's why. Like Chris Stuckman does a hilariosity review of this, and like he's like, this is the laziest fucking sequel ever, right? Because he's like, they film most of the new footage in one room, and then they use like a third of the footage of the film is from the previous film. So like this is like the cheapest fucking way to do a sequel, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of them damn mummy movies from the 40s, man.
So Mike, was this your first time as well seeing this?
No, it's not my first time to see it. Like this is, like I said, I'm not a horror fan, horror buff, but like I've seen all these. Silent Night, Deadly Nights. So there were.
That's my boy.
And so I haven't seen this one in like 20, 30 years. I think it was like last 93, 92 was the last time I saw this.
Wow.
So, and I got to hear Jelani's thoughts about it. I got to hear Robbie's thoughts about it.
And I would have liked.
I saw a lot of Brooks. I got to hear Brooks' thoughts on it.
Jelani, by the way, does not like this film, he says.
Yeah, I have a feeling. Did you at least see the fun in it?
And so I took all of that with a grain of salt. I even told Robbie, I was like, man, this movie's so bad. I don't even think I'm gonna watch it. Like, I think I'll just like skip it and go off my memory. And I didn't, so I decided to watch it. And I did an interesting thing is I watched the trailer first. And I don't know if you guys seen the trailer for this, but it lies to you. Like when you watch the trailer, it makes it to be like Ricky is like really. It's like all this stuff happened to Ricky, and it's just like he was a baby when all this happened.
Yeah,
he doesn't remember any of this. So it's kind of like in the trailer they made it look like Ricky was really Billy, and Ricky had this really terrible life and was tormented, and now he wants to seek. Now he's getting vengeance on everybody. So the trailer just outright just made it look like an awesome movie, but it's like no, that's a totally different character. If that kid was 1 year old in a bassinet, like he doesn't remember anything, and so. But I watched the movie and I really like it. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a big dumb fun movie, like super dumb. Like you have to go back and watch it. Like I've seen some bad movies and. There's a group in Nashville that does bad movies, and this would be something that we would watch for it and for that reason. And it's the love of bad movies is what makes this movie good.
Exactly.
So, I can't take myself too serious. Like I can't take this movie serious because it didn't take it. They didn't take it themselves serious. Like they weren't making a masterpiece. Like it's bad, and like that's why we like it. So it's a good bad movie.
Why? See, that's I do always appreciate your words, Mike. I do always appreciate it. You and Brooks made some good points. I think it it has a lot of cheesy moments, no doubt. I mean, dude. You Brooks, did you notice the eyebrows? Like every time he talks, he's like his eyebrows like it move like just so outrageously, like cartoonish almost. Like that's a thing.
You guys have kind of like one of those very like cartoonish like brows.
That's I think there's like a drinking game where it's like and you'd be like dead after, literally.
Like he has those crazy eyes, like he's trying so hard. It's like, I'm crazy. Can you tell I'm crazy?
Yeah, that's exactly how it's so over the top. Like, there's this horror YouTuber. He's a really cool guy. His name's like Pizzow or something. Actually, I probably could share his thing and show. But he actually is really tight with Eric Freeman. And I think he's got like 60K subs or something pretty high. But he just recently did a live stream with the guy. He's actually live streaming right now. Funny thing mentioning that, but him and like he is a huge supporter of the Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. So let's see. Yeah, where is he? Live with Eric Freeman. You probably can't. I don't know if you can see that though. But he's done a few things with Eric Freeman.
Because Eric Freeman just kind of disappeared after this movie.
He did. That was one thing. Like he totally disappeared. Like went off the radar, and like they just recently tracked him down. Maybe 5-10 years ago, maybe even like 5 years ago, and kind of getting them to go to cons and stuff, because now a lot of this stuff is coming back and popular and cult classics, and that guy Pizzow, like totally he's always trying to support him and kind of bring him back in the forefront, because a lot of people do love this movie, and it was something they watched growing up as a kid, and it's just fun, it's
wouldn't it be funny if he ended up being like actually a really good actor, but he just never took up any projects. He's like
never given the chance.
Great range and everything, but he just did this one movie and he's like,
I'm done. He's like, man, I was gonna work with Scorsese on my next movie, but it didn't. The ratings weren't good enough.
He was going to be a good
Part 2.
He was going to be in After Hours.
But Robbie, you missed it. I was saying, there's this YouTuber called Pizzoel. I'll send you the link later. But he actually is he's kind of, how many subs does he have? I think he's got, but he's like tight with Eric Freeman, and he's like a horror YouTuber. I think he has maybe 100 subs or something. I can't.
Only 100?
No, 100K.
Oh, okay. The crazy thing about Eric Freeman is that he does embrace his performance in this film.
Oh no, he's got 43.8K subs.
More than we got combined.
He's like one of the top dogs for horror YouTube. There's some good guys out there, man. They're really nice too.
Hell yeah, man. I there's several out there I like.
Hell yeah. But okay, so if you guys, let me see, what am I to do next? Okay, we'll go character and then music. What would be one of your favorite characters? Favorite character and favorite scene from that character from this movie. I mean, I'm sure it's all gonna be Ricky, so we could go around once and say one of our favorite scenes from Ricky, and then if you guys think you guys have another character, we can go around again.
My favorite character is not Ricky.
Okay. Well, let's just start. Then we'll go around twice. So tell me, what's your favorite scene from Ricky, or one of your favorite one-liners, or any,
From Ricky?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be obvious. It's the fucking garbage day thing. But my favorite thing about that is not just how odd it is for him to say that, right? And it's like literally the first thing that would pop into his head, garbage day, because the dude's going out to take out his garbage. Mm-hmm. But my favorite thing is that the dude's like, no, and like puts the garbage can in front of him like it's going to protect him. I like that bit. So I'm gonna go straight obvious and say garbage day, which it became a meme. So you gotta give it the mad props.
You gotta give it its props. All right, Brooks. What's one of your favorite Ricky moments?
Well, I just like every time he does that over the top villain laugh.
Yeah.
The one where he throws his head back, he actually throws his head back when he's like,
Like when the cops show up and they're like, freeze, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's
at
like,
that
it's so
moment, cops
ridiculous.
shoot you, by the way.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Point blank. Oh my
Jesus.
God. That's hilarious.
Oh,
I
I
love
forgot.
it.
I forgot one, and we'll see if it gets mentioned.
Mike, what was one of your favorite Ricky moments?
The theater
Nice.
when he kills the dude being
Everybody
rude in the
wants to
back.
do that, right? Everybody's had that experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes Jelani is that person.
God, yeah. Well, I just thought that was so funny the way it was shot. It's just so hokey. It looks like something like that looks like some like that looks like somebody killing Screech from Saved by the Bell. Like that was a Saved by the Bell episode to me right there. So like you could see, like you could imagine watching Saved by the Bell and like, oh, somebody gets roughed up. Like that's how they would do it. And then he goes back and he's just like the blonde haired dude. I can't remember the ex boyfriend that gets his eyeballs blown out. Like he comes back and it's just like I can't take like that's why this movie's awesome. Because he's all trying to be big buff and stuff. He's like, I'm back, and then the dude's like, I'm leaving. So I guess I can remember that dude's name right now to save my life.
Who, the boyfriend?
Yeah.
What's
Like,
the name of the boyfriend?
I thought it was like Chip or something.
Yeah, it's Ken Weichert. Something like that. Weichert.
Yeah, Chip. His name is Chip.
Yeah, his name is Chip.
Chip. It's his eyeballs.
His name
blown
is Chip.
His name is Chippin' Boy. He got his eyeballs gouged out by some electrodes plugged into his ears.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I love that the practical effects on that. You're crazy, and she's like, uh-oh. You know who Ricky's girlfriend is in that too? Can you think of what she's in?
Goddamn,
actually
Dylan.
showed-
I know
she
she's
actually-
in something else. What the fuck
She
is she
showed
in?
herself topless in something we just reviewed on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, she's in part 7? No. Yeah, is it part 7?
Yep.
Yeah.
A New Blood.
New Blood, yeah.
She's
It's
the
New
one who
Blood.
sleeps with the stoner
Yeah.
and then like lifts up and is like like with her tits showing.
Look at Tacky in the chat, still trapped up on fucking Juliet from Black Christmas last night. Look at that.
Yes.
Dude, I'll tell you what, dude. If I was in that
Yeah.
sorority house, the one I'd be after would be Margot Kidder. I'd be like trying to chill with Barb. Like loudmouth, drunk, obnoxious, dude. Match made in heaven.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Stay tuned for Barb. Oh, fuck you, Dylan. That's
Hey, you're too nice for her. She is a bitch.
bro. You don't know me.
Hey, well, I guess we're
Right
similar.
up his alley.
It seems like I go for the bitchy ones too. The bitchy, well, they're always the hot ones, you know.
We got to move off top. We got to get off this topic. We
All
got to
right,
get you to. We got to get you to 1K and monetize. We
What?
got to stay off that topic.
One of my favorite Ricky moments. Well, hey, we're talking about horror movies. It's gonna come up once or twice. All right, one of my favorite Ricky moments is damn it, I had it too. Shoot, where I lost. Oh, after he's like going on his rampage and everything. Obviously, I love all the other ones, but when he's shooting at the cops and then he goes to shoot himself, and then empty chamber, and then he's like, does his whole eyebrow thing. He's like, no bullets, young and dumb. And
It's so stupid.
It's
He
just-
lifts his eyebrows a lot. Like there was some video I watched. I think it was either the Stuckman video or I watched like a few videos about this today on YouTube that are great. There's some great coverage out there already. And someone like actually counted the number of times he raises his eyebrows. It's like 160 something.
yeah, that's
Station tacky.
I was
100%.
I was telling Brooks, I was like, it's like a drinking game that you would die from. That if you drank every time he moved his eyebrows, like frequently or over drastically.
No shit. I have that's a good one though. I have an honorable mention.
I'm really liking the name of that stream.
I don't know about that, but
I'm like,
there's another moment that I did forget to mention. Do you mind, Dylan?
Go ahead.
The moment, I think it's right after Garbage Day, and the car's driving up towards him.
Yeah.
And he shoots it just in its grill, and it fucking flips around, and he goes, bingo! And then it lands and blows the fuck up.
Yeah.
For no goddamn reason.
You see how close it comes to hitting him too, or the stunt double? Like,
what is the budget? Oh, dude, it really does.
$100,000.
$100,000.
And it made $150,000.
It made $50,000 after spending $100,000. They spent $100,000 on this fucking film. This is the shittiest fucking sequel they've ever tried to give us, but we love it.
With that $30 Scream Factory release, I think it's made a little bit more now.
You know, half of that budget was that goddamn car explosion, man, and the insurance.
Yeah,
that's why they didn't mind getting like serious. I don't know if that was the actor or a stunt man, but dude, they were right the fuck there, dude.
Dude, that's always one of the craziest things to me.
That's
all right.
$100K on this fucking movie, man. What the fuck? That's an insult to Silent Night, Deadly Night fans.
Man, crazy.
All right, see, Robbie, I got a question. Have you seen this film yet?
Neil Breen.
No.
Have you watched this film?
I don't even know what that is, brother.
Find this film, go watch it. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is a cinema masterpiece compared to this.
Well, I ain't gonna watch that film.
He just had a new one come out, didn't he? Like Twisted Pair or something?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't
remember. You know who that dude is? Is he the new Kirk Cameron or something?
He's a film auteur.
Okay.
You have to watch. You got to watch a Neil Breen film, man.
No, I value. I'm almost 40. I value my time way too much. Every time I watch Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 from now on, I'm just going to fucking skip every time there's a flashback scene because I feel like that's an insult to the previous movie. Like, I want a cut of this of just the Ricky scenes, right? Just that. Skipping all the flashbacks, if you will.
I can't believe that they didn't shoot enough. Like that's crazy.
Well, they were also originally apparently intending it just to be a recut version of Part 1 because some other company bought the rights or whatever.
Yeah,
and they just wanted to recut Part 1, and then they wanted to add something more to it. Then they added a lot more to it, but not enough to make it its own thing. What a fucking whatever.
So if we could pick a one, I mean not Ricky, but one of your other favorite characters of this movie, and one of their favorite, what scene made them your favorite character, or just why? Yeah. Starting with you, my brother Robbie.
J. Aubrey Island. He's the orderly in the very beginning of the film that's coming in. And Ricky's got the lighter, and they just keep doing this.
And I love that.
I just love the stares and the fear and the ridiculousness between the two of them. So I'll say him because literally, honestly, no character in this movie fucking stands out to me. I mean, Ricky's ridiculousness, that's about it. But this movie's kind of shit.
Naughty. All right, Brooks. Who are you thinking, boss?
I think Ricky kind of overshadows all the other characters in this movie. I don't care about anyone else besides him. Even Mother Superior, she's getting played by different actors. She gets totally overshadowed by this fucking dude and it's fucking ridiculous. I think it's like this movie's kind of like a one-man show with Ricky. And everybody else is just extras. All the other characters just feel like extras in this movie. And it's just this one fucking guy.
And they're not good. Like the psychologist, he's just not a good actor. I don't know. This is me. Mother Superior. Why does she got the Harvey Dent going on? What's up with that?
Yeah, what happened to that?
It's a different actor.
Yeah,
She's
but like,
supposed
why
to
did?
be sick. I think
So
it's
are they
to
trying to
kinda
disguise
cover up.
that, man?
Yeah, I think it's more to disguise that it's a
Because
different
dude,
actor.
that makeup was 1/10 of their budget.
I'm
So
sure.
like,
I wish they would have just got the original lady, but obviously you can only take what you can get. But yeah, she was not that good. You have been very naughty. She was kind of goofy, and then naughty this.
naughty this, like the way he delivers it is so ridiculous.
Yo, and it's a little ridiculous how hard it is for him to kill this woman in a wheelchair. Like,
After the rampage in the suburban neighborhood,
yeah,
where he literally is blowing fucking cars up and shit with like accurate precision.
right.
What the hell?
Seriously. All right, Mike, who are you thinking?
I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm going with Chip on this one, just for this reason.
Yeah, I was trying to think of his name.
That's the only character that you really need to care about, or the Umbrella dude.
It's the best kill in the movie. But I want to see the uncut Umbrella scene because apparently there was more to it.
Too much in the budget.
Oh, really? Man,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
All these movies, you know how they had to cut all that shit for the R rating.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't really think ahead of time to really save it.
So I guess if I was gonna go with my favorite character, it'd probably be Elizabeth Caton. I love Ricky, so I'm gonna go with Jennifer, who's Ricky's girlfriend, and just because she's horror icon for being in Part 7 of Friday the 13th. Maybe an icon stepping a little too far, but I'd show some respect, show some love and respect for her since she has been in a few horror movies.
Oh, yeah. I remember her now in that movie. Dude, you will probably like most of her films, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Have you seen Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity?
I
bet you'll like that one. Have you ever seen Assault of the Killer Bimbos?
Nope, but it sounds fantastic.
I bet you'll like that one. You ever seen Vice Academy 3?
No.
I bet you'll like that. I may have seen her on some Cinemax movies in the mid-90s. I don't know.
Necromancer and
I think I'm going to check out her film. Drew's going to get some odd requests tomorrow. He's going, you don't want Vice Academy 1 and 2?
She's in Twins, too.
Oh, hell yeah. Twins is cool, man.
Yeah, look at you.
Check Tubi first.
We're going to do Twins, by the way, on February 2nd, 2022.
Aren't they doing like a reboot of Twins?
I've heard that.
Like a remake or something?
Do you get the gag, though? It's 2-2-2-2. Two-Face, by the way, is striking somewhere major, maybe the White House on that day.
Look, save yourself the trouble. It's all on Tubi. There it is. Vice Academy.
You get commercial. Oh, those shit is all on Tubi? Tubi's got everything, doesn't it, man?
It does, man.
They got commercials, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I like making Drew waste time trying to find these random ass movies. Like right now, he's getting me Krampus for next week. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, we're derailing Dylan's conversation.
No worries, bro. Yeah, I'm pumped. Krampus is next week.
That's you next week. Yeah. This week we did Christmas slashers. Next week we're doing Christmas creatures, Gremlins and Krampus.
Yes. I already was watching some audio commentary for Gremlins today.
I've never seen Krampus, by the way, still. So this will be my first time watching it.
And by Daughtry, man, I hope you like it.
I'm looking forward to it.
I love it, man. I love it. All right. What was I? Okay, so last but not least, the score. What did you think about the score and cinematography and how this movie was shot? which I know we're not going to be talking much about how it was shot, I'm sure. But the score, I think, is pretty good in this. I mean, what did you think, Robbie?
I honestly did not like the score in this film. I thought
Yeah,
it lost all the atmosphere of the previous score. It did
You didn't
not carry
recognize it?
any of that. What?
You didn't recognize it?
No, I paid attention to the
It's
score.
by
when I was
Godwin,
watching-
dude.
Shut up. I was paying attention to the score because that's what I do in these movies. In every film, I pay attention to the music, but I really don't like the music in this. It's not iconic. It just feels kind of by the numbers. It doesn't carry the atmosphere that I feel was provided in the first film. As far as the cinematography, the same thing. It's by the numbers. It's paint by the book. This was directed by an editor. I feel that this was just a really cheap cash grab. And I feel that in pretty much all of the technique of the film. Sorry to be a downer.
It's okay. It's okay because I kind of do agree with you that it's a little bit more. It's nothing. The score in the first one is so much better. It's very generic kind of, and I think it fits well for the movie. But if it was a better movie, the score would be bad. I think it fits well because it's not the greatest movie. And I'm saying that, but I still like the movie. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's not that a good movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the difference. There's a difference when I think if I say I love this movie, I can still separate and be like, yeah, I get it. It's a bad movie. I know it's not the greatest movie, but I have fun with it. So you know what I'm saying? I think most of you guys all understand that. You know
We love plenty of bad movies.
exactly. That's
Ice
the thing.
Pirates, Beastmaster. These are some of our favorites.
I still, dude. I remember Beastmaster when I was a kid.
Cyborg with Jean-Claude Van Damme. How about that one? That's one of my favorite badass, like
You
just
know,
terrible movies.
Vinegar Syndrome did a 4K for Beastmaster, and it's like an incredible like box set type thing. And
Well, you know that like Coscarelli just recently got the rights back, and he's trying to get the original like negative back so he can do
yeah,
like a version
You
that,
think
that
it's
he
gone.
will that he will make money on. So
Well, now
that would be great
worked
though.
he
Don
did
needs
something with-
respect for that.
Oh yeah, he did something with Vinegar Syndrome, and they did the best they could with the the negatives they could
So is this
find.
brand new? Like brand new?
Brand new. It just came out for Black Friday.
How did
actually.
I not know this?
It was on Vinegar Syndrome. I should have told you actually.
Yeah, you
but
did.
I
You
didn't
missed
buy
out
it.
on that one, Dylan. Thank you, brother.
Hey, who told you now though? It's still available.
Okay.
The
I want it for
expensive,
Christmas.
though.
Anybody out there? I'm just joking.
It's it's 4K. It's a 4K release.
I don't
but
have 4K though, so
all you need is a Blu-ray.
I have a
Oh,
Blu-ray.
Then you're fine.
I got you. It's 4K restoration. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But it looks like a really. Let me see if I can find it for you. Actually, it looks like a doozy, but for some reason, man, Vinegar
I want that
Syndrome-
demon set. I really do. I think I need to invest in a region-free Blu-ray player so I can get whatever set I want. I've never seen that film, Mike. Have you?
No, we should watch it and do a review on it. It looks awesome.
Where's it on? Tubi?
Tubi. We'll watch it tonight.
They did Beastmaster and Fade to Black for Black Friday, and I want to get Fade to Black, no doubt, but I do want to get Beastmaster too. See, look at this.
Oh, nice. Oh, bro, look at the art.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like a box set for real. Like,
bruh.
I'll send you a video because there's somebody unboxing it on YouTube.
I need that so
It's
much.
like it's a work of beauty, man. I'm really bummed I didn't buy it on Black Friday because the website is like shut down right now for some. Like sometimes they
So
shut.
why'd
the
you tell me it was still available, asshole?
It is available. The websites because they're doing a sale. Like they're gonna do a sale soon for Christmas. So they like shut the website down so they can get everything. They can like update the site. So I'm waiting for the site. Once the site goes back up, I'll tell
That's
you, bro.
nice. That's nice.
It's still available.
Good looking out, man. Good looking out. Because
But it is
Beastmaster
rad.
is something I really want to revisit soon.
Dude. Let's see.
I'm a Coscarelli nut, just so you know. So
Yeah, me too. I was actually gonna just recently buy Bubba Hotep because it's like $17.99 on Amazon.
nice. I'm about to get a $5 credit from Amazon because I got an email. They were like, "You don't watch things on your Amazon Prime, so watch something on Amazon Prime. We'll give you a $5 gift card." So I was
Really?
like, I just went and just put on some Gordon Ramsay shit and just let it play for a few hours.
Really?
Yeah,
Man,
so-
I want what, dude? Just
Just
because
don't-
you know, I should be getting paid for how much I do watch shit on it.
They want me to invest more into the format, I guess, but they're giving me
Hey.
$5. So I was like, well, I'm definitely putting that towards a Blu-ray.
Right. Hell yeah. I'll tell you, man.
That's
Dude,
that's a well done, Amazon. I appreciate that.
hey, Amazon did me a solid,
Yeah,
man.
it really did. It's the Gordon Ramsay cooking course, and it's great.
Look on Prime. Look on Prime. Save your money.
Wow. Oh, I might be watching that tonight.
Oh,
Save,
nice.
save your money. Just watch Beastmaster on Prime.
Nice.
I still do want to buy. I still want to own the physical though. Eventually.
Yeah, but I'm
But you
just
don't
saying.
get the special features on the fucking
It
Amazon
never-
on the streaming, you know, like
And
we devour like on
Yeah.
both of these discs, like I devoured the special
Yeah.
features. Like on Black
Devour.
Christmas, they have every single documentary that's ever been done on
Yeah.
every format. And so I watched like hours of footage about the history and the making of Black Christmas. Like that's the shit I love. I
Yeah,
love
that's-
commentaries. Like that's me.
That shit's for free on YouTube.
No, it's not, bro.
What
You
Beastmaster?
You know, like
Commentaries.
you can get some of that stuff, but you can't. No, it's not really
No.
on YouTube, man.
And Beastmaster, I'm surprised it's on it. Well,
James
it's
Bonds are on free for YouTube now.
Beastmaster never got a Blu-ray release. Like that's the first time it's got. It was only on VHS, I believe.
There was a DVD release of it, I think.
Was there? Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't even think there was a DVD. I thought that was the first, but once you see like the set, like how that box.
I want a
is,
DVD. I want a Blu-ray release of Suburbia, which is a
Yeah.
Richard Linklater film, the follow-up to Dazed and Confused. But anyway, we were talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, right? I feel like I got to start stepping in this co-host role, you know, because we got that show coming up in January.
I mean, what
Yes,
more
sir.
do we what more do we need to say about Silent Night, Deadly Night 2?
well, we talked about the music. We talked about our favorite characters.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Dylan, what
we
else you
didn't
want to
finish-
do?
We didn't finish the music. We still got to rate it, but Brooks. Did you notice any? We basically kind of said the music was shit, but I also don't want to leave Brooks and Mike out. Brooks, did you have anything you want to note on with the music or cinematography?
I think like the music wasn't as memorable in this one, I don't think. And this movie overall, it felt a lot cheaper than the first one. Like and, you know, having the clips from the previous movie in the beginning didn't help its case. But you know, I think a lot of it was carried more by the performance than anything. I think.
I agree. Mike, anything you want to note with the music or the cinematography?
There was music in this movie because I didn't notice this was all. If there was a score, there was nothing to highlight, nothing that's memorable. Like I said, outside of the whole Ricky character, that's just and some of the deaths and just the bad acting, I just didn't notice anything else. So I should have paid attention better.
Understandable. You really weren't missing much, to be honest with you.
It's very bare bones by the numbers, man. You know what I'm talking
It
about,
really
right?
is.
Like it all is.
Look it up on YouTube. Type in Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 soundtrack. There's really only one song for the score, honestly. There's not much. Part 1 has like a whole soundtrack, and the soundtrack is actually really, really well done because I was listening to it earlier.
You know, it took like forever, by the way, for that soundtrack to actually release because of
Really?
the controversy around the film. They were going to release that soundtrack because they thought it was very like kind of innovative, you know.
It's Bentley. Sister Agnes.
The hell was that?
Wow,
Brooks,
Robbie
did
being
you-
Robbie.
Garbage Day.
I didn't know Beastmaster had a TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, it sucks.
It spinned off.
Look, there's only
Was that shit on Fox?
I don't know. It's on.
Something like that. It was bad, dude. I don't think.
look. I really want this to happen. I want a Beastmaster movie or TV show remade in this.
Yeah, that's
what I
funny.
want. That's what
I
want.
think it's funny that
I just want you guys to think that was cool.
I think Beastmaster has been talked about more than Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 tonight.
Was there 2 Beastmaster films?
Yes.
Coscarelli didn't do
remember.
the second one though, did he?
I was gonna say I only remember 1. That's one thing. Like he's so well known. Like Beastmaster, like was so like, dude. I remember that being on TV like nonstop.
Oh wow, there it is. Through the portal of time.
We have to check that
Ooh.
one out too, man. Is it on Tubi?
It might be on Amazon.
Anyway,
All right, so I basically talked about what I said about the music and everything already. So out of possible 5 you digs, the moment we have all been waiting for, people, what is your rating for this phenomenally well shot, well scripted, well acted, well eyebrow acted movie? Well one-lined. Damn it. I should have left it there. Go ahead, Robbie.
well, I was dead set on giving this 1 you dig, but I will go ahead and give it 2 because I do think it has a rewatchability because of the over-the-top performance by Eric Freeman. So there is that, and so it's got a little bit of, but it's a shitty ass excuse for a film. Like the fans of the franchise, they deserved more than this for the sequel. I would say I appreciate that it's become this meme, this cult classic. So I'll give it 2 instead of 1. I'll give it 2 you digs, but it is a tragedy and how dumb they treated their audience.
All right. Brooks, what would you give this movie out of 5 possible you digs, boss?
I'd give this one a 3. It's pretty good. Like, but, like I said, it's you can tell it's pretty cheap. Like, it's not trying very hard. It's a very lazy movie. But, the performance, Eric Freeman's performance, I think, makes it worthwhile. Like, I didn't feel like when I was done watching, I was like, man, this movie was a waste of my time. Like, that movie was bad, but, it was entertaining, So I think kind of it levels out at around, a 3 for me.
Nice score, nice score. Mike, what are you thinking out of 5 possible you digs?
I give it a 3. It's fun. It's campy. It doesn't take itself serious. It's just like the laughing, like Ricky's laughing. It's just kind of there, but it's fun. It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
So,
I agree, fellas. I think I'm stuck on like 2.5 or 3, but I'll give it a 3 because I do watch this honestly probably more than the first one just for the fun of it, just because that's one thing I do enjoy. It's like I watch a lot of the same horror movies. Sometimes I'll just throw them on in the background like The Stuff, Q the Winged Serpent. A lot of the ones I rewatch a lot are just the fun ones, and maybe they're cheesy to some people, maybe they're the worst movie ever to someone, but to me, I got a soft spot for them, and I just like having fun when I watch a movie, and when I watch a movie, it's escapism, and you're not trying to take everything so seriously. There's some movies you take seriously, and then there's some where you just, you can kind of let loose and just chuckle at some dumbass shit, and that is this movie for sure. So we got 3 3s from me, Mike, and Brooks, and 1 2 from Robbie, who is
Once
very,
again,
very naughty.
breaking the mold. Apparently, I don't like this franchise as much as y'all, but I haven't seen 3, 4, 5, or the remake. So
I mean, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the journey eventually. I know, because I know me.
You're all
I
on
know how I
Tubi.
am.
They're all on
Oh.
Tubi for free.
Yeah.
I got Tubi on my Roku. I need to access it more, to be honest with you. So
Yes, you do, because they got a lot of good stuff. You
they
just
do.
might have
You
to-
just got to watch them with commercials, man.
They're not the commercials
No.
aren't really bad. There's a couple. There's like
Okay.
a couple throughout. You know, you get maybe I'd say like 3 or 4 for an hour.
Well,
and
that's
a half.
not bad. You watch some shit on Hulu. You watch a 20-minute show. You get like 18
Yeah.
commercials.
No, it's not bad on Tubi, honestly.
Okay.
Tubi
Not
is
bad
good.
at all.
Tubi, it reminds me of watching that.
Brooks needs to get Tubi then, so he doesn't have to borrow all my Blu-rays all the time.
It's free.
free.
So free.
I was gonna say
Can you get
Tubi.
on Xbox One?
I believe so. I believe so.
TUBI. Tubi. Just search it.
It
It's really
reminds
good. They have a lot of horror
Tubi.
films, man.
it reminds me a lot of. You remember watching movies on Fox when they weren't showing football?
Yeah.
Like that's what it.
Sunday
that's-
afternoon movie.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like watching Tubi. Like, oh, you get this movie and you get some commercials.
That's where I watch
Yeah.
shit like Predator 2 and goddamn fucking Lethal Weapon 3. And
Yeah,
shit
that's
like
where-
that all the time.
Like that's where the first time I saw Jaws. That's the first time I saw Highlander. Like that's the first time I saw Blade Runner was on the Fox afternoon movie because they did it on Saturdays too. So, but yeah, that's what Tubi reminds me of. So it's a nice throwback to my youth.
So
So,
our rating for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is an overall rating of 2.69.
69 dude station.
Nice. But yeah, man, so that sums up the reviews for part 1 and part 2 of Silent Night, Deadly Night. We are finished, fellas.
yeah.
Slasher Christmas weekend.
Mission complete. Now I am super hyped to review Gremlins this week and Krampus. I'm more excited for Krampus, honestly, just because Robbie hasn't seen it. Have you seen it, Brooks?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, we're in for a treat.
Is
What
it-
about
is
you,
it
Mike?
on Tubi?
I don't think so. But it's only $10 on Blu-ray.
It's $12.99, young man.
can
I
watch-
looked it
I'm
up.
sure it went up. Damn, well, I'm sure you can watch one of the crappy Krampus movies on Tubi.
There's a bunch of them, man. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them out there. But yeah, next week we got Gremlins because this week was Christmas slasher films. Next week is Christmas creature films. And Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time on Pop Culture Philosophers, Gremlins. I believe Perry's going to be there. I'm very excited for that. In addition to Dylan and Brooks, as well as Jelani and Jay Strick. I guess those guys are okay too. But and then next week here, we're going to be talking about Krampus, and I'll be talking about it, watching it for the first time. And I'm excited because I really, really like Trick or Treat, and it's the same director. So
Oh yeah, that's why I'm excited to see what you think. I went and saw it in theaters after Christmas with my family, and it was so awesome, man. I love the movie, man. It's one of my favorites. It's one I watch every year since it's come out. I've seen it every year, man. I've seen it. I can watch that movie even when it's not Christmas. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I love it, man.
I'm
I
excited
love
to check it out. I've been wanting to watch it for a long time.
Yeah, it's a little more CGI, obviously, I feel like, than Trick or Treat is, but it does have practical stuff in it, but once you see it, there's just stuff that can't be really done practically, but I think all the CGI works really well.
I just think it's nice that we have spent so much time reflecting on horror films that it's nice for us to take a change of pace and just look at some nice, wholesome Christmas films for these next couple weeks. So,
Heck yeah. Christmas horror films, that is.
You should watch all the Tim Allen Santa Claus movies.
not anytime soon, brother.
Uh,
Did anybody ever watch The League on FX?
No.
I don't know.
Dang, well, y'all missed out on some good football humor and just humor in general.
Weird strike.
But they did a thing. Taco, one of the characters, was the mall Krampus.
Now I want to talk.
So I put it in the Facebook group so you can watch the video. But I want to see a Krampus movie with Taco's Krampus because I think that'd be even better.
Okay.
Watch the video to find out what I said.
That would be fun. Yeah. All right, though. So I think that probably wraps it up for the review. Is there anything you got going on, Robbie, that you want to mention? I know you had just dropped your weekly wrap up today. Anything else coming?
Well, first of all, the weekly pop culture wrap up is now officially going to be on Saturdays going forward. Because.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I usually film it on Saturday nights, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then during Horror Fest, I moved it to Saturdays so I could film it on Fridays because I'm off on Fridays from my other job. So I actually have more time on Fridays to put it together, release it on Saturday. I can't put it together on Friday and release it on Sunday because then what if some news drops on Saturday and people think I missed it? So from now on, because I got other commitments now on Saturdays, Saturday mornings will be the weekly pop culture wrap-up because starting January 9th on Saturday nights, I'll be live with this fool right here talking about horror on the brand new show. And this is something I'm very excited for. Dylan's horror show with Rock and Robbie. But I'm very, very excited.
Chilling with Dylan.
With Dylan. Chill with Dylan. Yo, we chilling with Dylan and we keeping with the killing and we talking about New Bloods TNA filling. Let me tell you what we do. We chilling with the villains like Bob Dylan killing with the motherfucking skilling. Let me tell you what.
You
can have that, Dylan. You can have that, by the way. That lyric, that's free. You can have it.
That's free. No trademark.
You're going to turn that into like a #1 hit. You'll get nothing for it.
Yeah, right. I know, right? And I'll resent Dylan the whole time. And his horror show, I'll like drop out very early and be like, why did Rock and Robbie leave Dylan's horror show?
Controversy.
Well, I just didn't think it. I thought it was a bit sacrilegious to have Santa be the killer.
Oh my God. He's one of those. So I had a lot of fun doing this, and I cannot wait for this week. It's going to be a fun one, man. So I was going to say, but these guys don't have channels. So, yeah, that's all you got going on, Robbie? Nothing else?
I mean, the normal stuff, weekly pop culture wrap-ups, weekly comic book reviews, weekly top 10s. Rock and Robbie Live on Sunday night. We'll be talking about all the news that just dropped from Marvel and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. We'll be talking about that, taking a look at this upcoming week's new comics. That's Rock and Robbie Live. And, of course, PCP live on the Festivus stream. The 3rd annual Festivus stream will be Wednesday night, December 23rd. Festivus. So join us that night, Wednesday night, Festivus Station.
Fable wants to know, are we doing sci-fi?
Bro,
Or
we're getting into some sci-fi.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, and Station, my brothers. But so that will wrap up this week's review. Catch us next Friday and Saturday for the Gremlins review and the Krampus review. What was it? 2017, I think. I forget what year. Whatever. But yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. And as always, Station, my brothers, and we will catch you guys later.